We live in a world where the mind is constantly under siege. You might not always see it, you may not even always feel it, but there is a battle being fought, an invisible war within the very sanctum of your thought source. Every day we face a spiritual attack on our minds. It's not one with physical weapons, but with ideas, distractions, and doubts that slowly corrode the peace we seek. We are all familiar with the experience of facing inner struggles. Whether in the quiet of our own minds or during the chaos of life storms, there is a constant battle unfolding that we may not even fully understand. This battle is invisible, often unnoticed, but relentless. It is a spiritual assault on our minds, an attack aimed not at our bodies, but at our very essence, our thoughts, our beliefs, and ultimately our identity. It is a conflict that, if not recognized and fought, can shape our lives in ways we never intended. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell. A hell of heaven, said John Milton. Indeed, the mind is a battleground, and within it lies the ability to either rise or fall. A thought, left unchecked, can spiral into a destructive force that eats away at our confidence, our clarity, and our purpose. We often overlook the power of the mind to shape our reality, but the truth is, the battle for who we are and what we become is won or lost within this very space. And it is not merely a struggle of willpower, it is a spiritual attack that seeks to undermine our sense of self and the very foundation of our beliefs. Man is what he believes, wrote Anton Chekhov, and the power of belief cannot be overstated. It is in our beliefs that the seeds of victory or defeat are sown. Yet these beliefs are not always based on truth. In fact, more often than not, the beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world around us are shaped by external influences, by the voices we hear, the circumstances we face, and the experiences we encounter. These beliefs can be positive, they can empower us, or they can be negative, seeping into our minds like poison, leading us down paths of despair and self-doubt. The attack on our minds, therefore, is often subtle. It doesn't arrive with loud, dramatic gestures, it comes as a whisper. It speaks not in the language of monsters or shadows, but in the language of doubt, fear, and confusion. It begins with small thoughts: you can't do it, you're not enough, you'll never succeed. These thoughts don't feel like attacks at first, but they are, for they are designed to weaken us, to erode our confidence, and to distort our understanding of who we are. It is important to understand that this attack is not an external force that we can easily name or confront. It is often an internal struggle. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another, said William James, and this is where the battle lies. The attack on our minds is a battle for our thoughts. We are continually confronted with choices. Which thoughts will we entertain? Which ones will we let go of? The enemy of peace does not simply inject negativity into our minds, it relies on us to hold on to these thoughts and allow them to take root. The mind is not a passive vessel, but an active participant in the shaping of our lives. If we allow ourselves to believe the lies that we are not worthy, not capable, or not loved, we will begin to live out these lies. What we think, we become, said Buddha. Our thoughts shape our actions, and our actions create our reality. Therefore, we must be vigilant in guarding our thoughts, for they have the power to create both our heaven and our hell. The first step in resisting this spiritual attack is to recognize it for what it is. The mind is a battlefield, but awareness is the sword we wield to fight back. When a thought of fear or doubt arises, we must not accept it passively as a truth. Instead, we must question it. Is this thought in alignment with who I truly am? Is this thought in alignment with what I truly believe? Is this thought in alignment with the truth of my purpose? These are the questions we must ask, and in asking them, we take the first step toward reclaiming control over our minds. Be careful what you think, said the philosopher Epictetus. For your thoughts run your life. This is the crux of the matter. Our minds are under constant attack, but they are also incredibly powerful. What we think shapes who we are, and who we are shapes the world we live in. Therefore, we must not allow ourselves to be passive in this spiritual battle. We must actively choose to guard our thoughts, to be aware of the voices that seek to deceive us, and to replace them with the truth. The truth is that we are capable, we are worthy, and we are loved. These are not just abstract ideals, they are foundational truths about our existence. The attack on our minds often seeks to distort these truths, to make us believe that we are less than what we are meant to be. But the truth is unshakable. It does not change with circumstances. It does not change with feelings. It remains steadfast, no matter the attacks we face. As we fight against these spiritual attacks, We must also recognize the importance of feeding our minds with truth. The mind, like any other part of us, needs nourishment. Just as our bodies require food to sustain them, our minds require truth to remain strong. Fill your mind with the thoughts that are beautiful, noble, and true, said Epictetus, and you will find peace. The thoughts we allow to occupy our minds will either build us up or tear us down. Therefore, we must make a conscious effort to surround ourselves with what is good, what is true, and what is uplifting. In moments of doubt, in moments when the attack on our minds seems overwhelming, we must also remember the power of perspective. It is easy to become lost in the noise of our thoughts, to become overwhelmed by the lies that are whispered. But we must take a step back and see things from a higher vantage point. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, wrote Marcus Aurelius. When we step back and see the bigger picture, we can recognize that these thoughts, these fears, these doubts are not the final word. They are temporary, fleeting, and if we do not give them power, they will pass. The mind may be under attack, but it is not a hopeless situation. The battle may be intense, but the victory is already within reach. The key is awareness, the key is truth, and the key is perseverance. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. C.S. Lewis said, "It is never too late to reclaim your mind, to reclaim your peace, and to stand firm in the truth of who you are." The battle may rage, but the war is not lost. Stand firm, hold fast to your beliefs, and trust that, in the end, the light will always overcome the darkness. In life, we are all bound to face moments of uncertainty, where doubt creeps in like an unwelcome guest and whispers falsehoods into our ears. We've all been there, moments when we question our worth, our abilities, or even our purpose. These moments are not isolated, they are part of the human experience. Yet, they are also where the battle truly begins. The most subtle yet powerful enemy we encounter is often found in the thoughts we allow to take root in our minds. This is why it's so important to recognize the significance of the thoughts that invade our minds, for they can either empower us or defeat us. As Buddha wisely said, what we think we become. Every thought is a seed, and the seeds we plant in our minds will grow into the reality we experience. If we allow ourselves to entertain negative or limiting thoughts, we create a landscape of fear, self-doubt, and insecurity. On the other hand, if we focus on thoughts that uplift us, encourage us, and remind us of our true potential, we cultivate a life of strength, purpose, and possibility. The power of thought cannot be underestimated. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another, said William James. When we learn to consciously choose our thoughts, we take control of our mental environment. Too often we fall victim to the lie that we are not enough, or that we are unworthy of success, happiness, or love. These lies, however, are not truths, they are merely thoughts that have taken hold of our minds. The key to overcoming them lies in the ability to challenge these thoughts, to question their validity, and to replace them with something more powerful. As Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Our beliefs shape our reality, and the moment we begin to believe in our capacity for greatness, we unlock doors that were once closed. In moments of doubt, it is essential to remember that our minds are not inherently flawed, they are powerful instruments of creation. But like any tool, they require discipline and care. The mind is constantly bombarded with information, and it's easy to let negative thoughts slip through the cracks. But as we begin to guard our thoughts, to actively choose what we allow to enter our consciousness, we become the masters of our own fate. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, said Marcus Aurelius. This power is yours right now in this very moment. To conquer doubt and fear, we must first understand that they do not define us. They are temporary, and like any storm, they will pass. The key to enduring them lies not in resisting them, but in refusing to be ruled by them. In those moments when doubt creeps in, remind yourself of your worth, your purpose, and your potential. Remember that you are capable of achieving greatness, not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to keep going, even when the road is tough. In the end, the battle for our minds is one we fight every day, and it is one that we can win. By choosing to believe in ourselves, to trust in the power of positive thinking, and to replace negativity with truth, we align ourselves with a force greater than any obstacle. The mind is everything. What you think you become, said Buddha. What you think is what you become. So choose wisely. Fill your mind with hope, with possibility, with belief. The future you want is waiting for you. Start creating it today. In the journey of life, we are often confronted by forces that seek to distract us, to mislead us, or to distort our sense of self. These forces can take many forms: self-doubt, external criticism, past failures, or even the weight of societal expectations. All of these pressures converge on one central point. They seek to obscure our true identity. And when our sense of self is shaken or clouded, it becomes incredibly difficult to move forward, to pursue our dreams, or to fulfill our potential. There's a powerful truth we must come to understand: who we believe ourselves to be shapes everything else in our lives. Man is what he believes, said Anton Chekhov. Your beliefs about who you are, what you are capable of, and what you deserve will determine how you act, how you feel, and what you create in the world. If you see yourself as weak, incapable, or unworthy, you will move through life with a sense of limitation. But if you understand that you are capable, worthy, and powerful, you will walk through life with a sense of confidence, purpose and possibility. The difference between these two outcomes is entirely based on how you perceive yourself. The challenge, however, is that we are often conditioned by external forces to see ourselves through a distorted lens. Society tells us that success is only for the rich or the famous, that worth is determined by external achievements, or that happiness is a distant goal that can only be reached through perfection. But these messages are lies. They are false beliefs that cloud our understanding of our true selves. In truth, you are not defined by your circumstances, your failures, or your appearance. As Maya Angelou so beautifully said, we may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. The defeat is never in the failure itself, but in believing that failure defines who we are. Our true identity is something far deeper, far more resilient than the surface-level experiences we encounter. To understand this, we must dig beyond the layers of societal conditioning, beyond the judgments we've internalized, and beyond the mistakes we've made. Our true identity is not bound by what has happened to us, but by who we choose to be in every moment. This is why it's so important to always come back to the fundamental question: who are you really? When we forget who we truly are, when we become disconnected from the essence of our being, we can easily become lost in the noise of the world. To thine own self be true, Shakespeare wrote, reminding us of the importance of self-awareness and self-acceptance. The path to discovering who we truly are begins with reconnecting to our inner truth, with shedding the layers of false beliefs, and with recognizing the unique power that resides within each of us. We live in a world that is constantly trying to tell us who we should be, how we should look, how we should feel, and what we should achieve. But if we want to be truly free, we must first look inward. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, said Aristotle. It is only through self-awareness that we can discover what we are truly capable of. When we align with our true self, we unlock the ability to pursue our goals with clarity, with passion, and with the understanding that we are worthy of success. This journey of self-discovery is not always easy. It is often filled with moments of doubt, uncertainty, and fear. But we must remember that these challenges are not signs of weakness, they are opportunities for growth. The only way to do great work is to love what you do, Steve Jobs once said. And the only way to love what we do is to first understand why we do it. When we connect with our deeper sense of purpose, when we understand our true identity, everything we do becomes an expression of who we are. This alignment makes all the difference between a life of struggle and a life of fulfillment. Self-doubt often arises when we feel disconnected from our true self. We question our abilities, our worth, and our place in the world. But this doubt is not the truth, it is merely a reflection of our fears. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, no one can make you feel inferior. Without your consent, we are not defined by the doubts others have of us or the limitations they impose upon us. We are defined by our own vision of who we are and what we are capable of. And the moment we take ownership of that vision, we reclaim our power. At times, it can feel as though the world is telling us that we are not enough, that we are not capable of achieving our dreams, or that we are somehow flawed. But these messages are not the truth. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Buddha, you are deserving of every good thing this world has to offer, not because of what you have achieved, but because of who you are at your core. Your worth is not determined by your successes or failures. It is inherent in your being. Your true self, the part of you that is aligned with your deepest values and purpose, is powerful, unshakable, and limitless. The key to overcoming the spiritual attacks that come against our minds is to remember that we are more than the labels placed upon us, more than the fears that seek to control us, and more than the doubts that attempt to define us. Our true identity is found in our ability to rise above these forces, to reconnect with our core, and to live authentically. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any, said Alice Walker. To embrace your true identity is to acknowledge your inherent power. It is to recognize that you have within you everything you need to face the challenges that life throws at you. Everything you need is already inside you, said Bill Gates. The journey of self-discovery is not about acquiring something new. It is about shedding the layers of false beliefs that have kept you from seeing your true potential. In the end, your true identity is not something you need to find. It is something you need to remember. It is not something external, something that others can give to you. It is already within you, waiting to be uncovered. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it, said Rumi. These barriers, fear, doubt, insecurity, are the false constructs that prevent us from seeing who we really are. Once we remove them, we will see clearly we are worthy, capable, and powerful beyond measure. So I urge you, do not let the world define you. Do not let your mistakes define you. Do not let your doubts define you. Look within and rediscover the truth of who you are. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not the opinions others have of you. You are a unique and powerful individual with everything you need to create the life you desire. The moment you realize this, the moment you remember your true identity, you will begin to move through life with unshakable confidence and purpose. As you embark on this journey of self-discovery, remember that you are not alone. The path may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. Embrace your true self, and the world will open up to you in ways you never thought possible. Your potential is limitless, and the only thing standing between you and your greatness is the belief that you are already enough. In a world that constantly bombards us with noise, distractions, and opinions, the ability to discern truth from falsehood becomes a skill of vital importance. Every day we are exposed to countless ideas, beliefs, and viewpoints, some of which uplift and inspire us, while others attempt to mislead, confuse, or deceive us. The true power lies not in simply hearing these voices, but in developing the ability to discern between what is real and what is not. As Aristotle wisely said, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Our minds, much like gardens, are fertile ground where thoughts can either grow into something beautiful and nourishing, or something poisonous and destructive. The key, then, is discernment, the ability to distinguish between thoughts that align with our highest purpose and those that seek to lead us astray. Not everything that is faced can be changed, James Baldwin reminded us, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. In order to confront and overcome negative or misleading thoughts, we must first acknowledge them, understand where they come from, and question their validity. Discerning between truth and lies is not always an easy task, but deception often wears the mask of truth. It may come in the form of self-doubt, fear, or confusion thoughts that, when left unchecked, lead us down paths of despair and limitation. The truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable, said James A. Garfield. This is because discovering the truth often requires us to strip away the layers of false beliefs that we've built up over time. It requires us to challenge long-held assumptions and to confront the uncomfortable reality that some of the things we believe to be true are, in fact, lies. But this process of self-examination and truth-seeking is essential to personal growth and transformation. When you know better, you do better, Maya Angelou said. And once we begin to discern the truth about ourselves, our lives, and our purpose, we begin to live more intentionally, more authentically, and with greater clarity. The false narratives we once believed lose their power over us, and we gain the freedom to move forward with purpose. The power of discernment is not just about recognizing lies, it is also about identifying the truth in moments of uncertainty. It's about knowing what aligns with our values, what resonates with our core, and what moves us closer to our goals. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it, Rumi said. These barriers often take the form of negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, or past failures that cloud our judgment. But through discernment, we can recognize these barriers for what they are and move past them, stepping into the light of truth. In our fast-paced, noisy world, discernment is a skill that must be cultivated with intention. It requires us to slow down, to reflect, and to listen not just to voices around us, but to the stillness within. It asks us to question the thoughts that arise in our minds, to examine their source, and to decide whether they serve us or hinder us. The most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do, Kobe Bryant said. And true greatness, whether in life or in work, begins with the ability to discern the thoughts, choices, and actions that will take us closer to our best selves. So I urge you today to take ownership of your thoughts, to listen closely to the voices in your mind and ask yourself, does this thought empower me? Does it move me closer to my truth? The ability to discern between what is true and what is false is not just a skill, it is a power. It is the power to shape your life, to choose your path, and to live with intention. And when you learn to miss this power, nothing can stand in your way. The truth is within you, and it will guide you to a life of freedom, clarity, and fulfillment.